Hey everybody, John Malanca here, excuse me, with my co-host and owner and founder of Natren Precision Probiotic, Natasha Trenev, and also known as the mother of probiotics. Happy New Year, Natasha.
Happy New Year, and we're here to give everybody a vital message for staying healthy in 2025. I think they've heard a lot of messages, but this message has worked for the last 42 years. So let's see if we can persuade everybody to listen.
So not only 42 years, but also over 10 million, I'll say people, happy customers, healthy customers. And so we'll go over it. So let's find out. So it still blows my mind every time you share this stat that from my mouth to my, what do you want to say? The other end is 27 feet in the GI tract, 27 feet. Imagine 27 feet going from here to there. And so let's talk, because there's a lot that it gets covered, not only for health and wellness, but what's happening with the food, et cetera, and bringing the body back to balance. Right. And this is where the mother of probiotics steps in with a healthy gut for 2025. Let's go for it, Natasha.
Right. So just so you know, I've been in this field for 60 years. I've introduced the concept of fermented foods like yogurt and kefir to the United States, set standards for those. And I introduced the Healthy Trinity in 1994 after decades of study. And the reason this is so important is because we know 80% of the health of the American public is now compromised, and about 60% of the children. So the Healthy Trinity, I believe, is the solution for not only regaining your health, but maintaining your health for 2025. And the reason I decided to talk about the Healthy Trinity is because even after decades of it being on the marketplace, people still don't understand why it's number one, safe. And when you're ingesting bacteria, they have to be absolutely safe under all conditions, and they have to be effective. So that's the reason I decided today I take this opportunity to explain that within those 27 feet of intestinal tract, you have about 100 trillion microbes. Now, those microbes line that intestinal tract, and they're fighting, if you can imagine, for actually hundreds of thousands of parking spaces, because they want to use you as an optimal site for them to thrive. And that's why they're doing this. They're not doing this because we like them or anything else. So now, because we're unique individuals, the composition of those microbes are unique to us, like our fingerprint. So that's why it's doubly important that you know who's selling you the organisms that have evolved with Homo sapiens and actually like to live in particular places in the intestinal tract and have been in the scientific literature for at least 100 years. It makes a big difference on the safety and efficacy of the product. So just to begin, Lactobacillus acidophilus was one of the first organism that was introduced to the public about 100 years ago. And it's been a staple in the health food industry, I would say, for maybe 7 decades, if not 8 decades. And the only thing that people would buy from the 1960s to, I would say, until about the early 2000s is anything that contained a Lactobacillus acidophilus. Why? Because that's the one we learned about first as a probiotic organism. It doesn't do well in yogurt. People try to put it in yogurt. It doesn't make yogurt. You wouldn't want to eat the food that it ferments because it would be very bitter and sour. So anybody that tells you they've got an acidophilus in a food is not entirely telling you the truth. So why is this bacteria necessary for our health? Because number one, it's absolutely safe. And if you grow it the right way and you choose the right strain, it has incredible optimal health benefits, such as, making sure that all of your food is digested and broken down properly and absorbed in the small intestine. It communicates with your immune system to make sure the immune cells are aware what they need to fight and what they need to allow to pass through the intestinal wall. And second of all, it produces its own compounds for itself, which are beneficial to the human host because it competes well with other not so friendly bacteria and yeast. And actually, its primal objective is to thrive in your intestinal tract and to keep you healthy. Why? Because it's the place that most likes to live. So you have to figure out that bacteria are a lot smarter than we are, and they're not going to waste their cellular energy to impress us, the human being. So Lactobacillus acidophilus is a mandatory bacteria to use for optimal human health. It can be taken by every member of the family, anybody that's past 1 year old to the time they leave this plane of existence. So it is an important organism, but it is a difficult one to grow, stabilize, and maintain. So we'll explain that when I explain all of the bacteria. So I was the first one in the United States to introduce the importance of bifidobacteria. Now, you probably heard about bifidobacteria. You've heard slogans like "Save the Biff" and why it's so important, especially if you're long-haul COVID survivor and if you've had the vaccines, because apparently they destroy the bifidobacteria. And where do the bifidobacteria like to live? In your large intestine, and the colon is part of the large intestine. And the reason they like to live down there is because it has no oxygen. So remember, bacteria are a lot smarter than we are. They don't live anywhere where it's not comfortable for them. So if bifidobacteria don't like the presence of oxygen, they're probably going to stay in the large intestine and not waste their cellular energy for any other reason. And their presence in our GI tract is important because in the large intestine is the final phase of absorption of liquids or vitamins, and it acts as our most important waste and disposal system. And that is important because if the waste is not properly handled, the toxins or the waste material go back to the liver and burden it with further neutralizing the toxins that should have gone out the other way with the help of the bifidobacteria. So, in fact, in Japanese culture, bifidobacteria are considered the most important bacteria for human health. So now we understand why the specific species and strain of bifidobacteria I chose is because it's an extensive study, and I was, again, the first one to introduce it to the United States in 1986. The third bacteria I chose is part of the starter culture for what else? Bulgarian-style yogurt. Was named after the long-lived citizens of Bulgaria, which were studied at the turn of the 20th century by a famous Russian doctor and scientist who found that the reason the Bulgarians lived so long is because they consumed a specific yogurt that had this bacteria, which we call Lactobacillus bulgaricus. Now, this bacteria is so important to your health because, number one, it helps to break down food. It's one of the very few bacteria in the probiotic world that can actually pre-digest food for itself and for the human host. It has incredible ability to communicate with the immune cells. It actually helps to detoxify the body each and every day. So it is an important bacteria to go along with your food and possibly get out the other end because it's like what I call a crowd control microbe. So it's very important. So based on my well over 60 years of being in this industry, I kept to these three bacteria because remember, bacteria have to be safe and have to have evolved with Homo sapiens in order to be safe at all levels and to have a truly beneficial effect in the body. Now, the question is, because most Americans want things simple and they want them to work, I had to figure out how to put these three bacteria together so that they don't knock each other out. And how do we keep the bacteria working in our bodies? If you stress them out by putting them in a plastic bottle, in a capsule where they're allowed to touch each other during storage, transportation, and especially if they're exposed to heat, they're going to get very weak. They're going to get a lot of them will die. And by the time you get the product ingested, the rest of them will be killed by stomach acid. And what few survive will not give you a lot of beneficial effect. And that's why people have told me time and again, how come nothing ever worked until I took the Healthy Trinity? And I said, you're going to have to ask the manufacturers of those other products. So what did I do? I said, how do I keep these bacteria together in one capsule? Because Americans want convenience without allowing them to harm each other. And they not only have to survive handling and shipping, they also have to survive stomach acid. Stomach acid was designed to not only break down protein or pre-digest it for us, but it's also designed to kill bacteria and yeast so that it doesn't enter your small intestine and really upset that delicate balance in that 27 feet of GI tract. So the only thing that really survives stomach acid is oil. That's physiology 101. Oil is not digested by stomach acid or in the stomach. It's designed to be emulsified by bile, which is, produced by your bile duct, and it's in the upper end of your small intestine. So now I had to microenrobe these organisms with the oil so that they don't touch each other. They're sort of covered with the oil. And so to put them in the same capsule, I had to use a 2-piece gel capsule because that's the only thing the oil will tolerate and be able to make it into your body without getting a lot of moisture, which would kill the bacteria. So now I've got this unique delivery system, which is, by the way, one-of-a-kind system, not only in the dietary supplement business, but in the biotechnology industry or in the pharma industry. Nobody really has this effective delivery system like we do at Natren and the Healthy Trinity. So now you have these 3 magic bacteria in a brown gel capsule that protects the bacteria from UV light. They're separated. And guess what? We're the only company in the world that has independent study that shows that these bacteria in the Healthy Trinity will survive stomach acid for well over an hour in a very low pH of 1.8. If you don't know what pH is, look it up because it shows how strong the acidity of your stomach is. So now that it survived stomach acid, it's also bile tolerant because now you need the bile to break up the oil in order for these organisms to have any effect on your body. Now, this may sound very technical, but without this knowledge, there's no way that you're going to have a safe and effective product that works each and every time a person takes it. And that's why for the last 42 years, since I've been in the probiotic business, I actually started the whole category. People time and again have told me I've taken other products that are so-called probiotics, but I never got the result that I did with the Healthy Trinity. And I thought I knew everything about probiotics. So what it is that as the author of 2 probiotic labeling standards, one that was read into congressional record, I can tell you that nobody's really following those standards. And without standards, no matter how little or how much you spend on a probiotic product, it's not going to do you any good. So that's what I'm saying. In this day and age, when you have pollution in the air, you have pollution in the water, you have pollution in your food, 1,000 chemicals in our food supply in the United States that are banned in other countries, and maybe some other pollutants that other countries accept that we also put in our food. So that's why we need on a daily basis a very reliable, a very safe, and a very effective probiotic product that we have to take on a daily basis, not because I say so, but because the level of chronic illness in our country, not only for adults, but for children, has mandatory because we have managed to destroy the most important ecosystem to our health and longevity, which is inside that 27 feet of digestive tract. And I hope that wasn't too much information, but I try to condense almost 60 years of learning in like a 5-minute capsule.
Well, there's a lot of information for our audience who have used Healthy Trinity and for our audience who have not. Healthy Trinity is Natasha's flagship product. Been on the market for 4 decades, or am I missing that?
Yeah,
I know the
1994.
Yeah, and so a lot of information, but helping one, again, just bringing the power of your 2025 health transformation back intact with Natren Probiotics, help with digestion, helps with balance in the gut, helps with regularity, helps with inflammation. The list goes on. Natasha, the mother of probiotics, as she shared, has a wealth of information, 6 years of information, trying to get it on this quick little podcast.
Yeah.
Is we're condensing a lot, but Natasha's company, Natren's been around, as we mentioned, for over 4 decades, has not only a wealth of information on her end, as you can see, but also with her staff that can take phone calls. Susan, Carolyn, Sandra, the list goes on. And so if you haven't heard it here, if you want to reach out to Natasha, she's reachable, and we can get you on the phone with her as well. But wealth of information, and the whole goal of this is not only to bring health back into your life or keep you balanced, but New Year's resolutions, a new year, and a new you with Natren Probiotics. Do you want anything to add to that, Natasha?
Yeah,
or are you good?
I do. The number, if you want to call one of our lovely ladies, most of them have been with me for more than 20 years, is 866, the number 4, and then you spell out the word Natren, Natren. So that's so important. You can pick it up on the website. We have the number there. And I know people don't like to talk, but believe me, you need to have a customized system to take on a daily basis, because we will be challenged with things that we've never been challenged in the history that I know. So, Healthy Trinity, I did have a small little chart that I wanted to show you of the intestinal tract. And if we can just pop that up for a minute, and it shows you, how your whole system looks. Now, I'm not going to quiz you on that, but it shows you where the product goes in down the esophagus, and then the 2-piece gel capsule gets broken up by stomach acid. The oil gets emulsified by bile. And then because the bacteria are all bile tolerant, they make it into your small intestine and the large intestine. And believe me, many people tell me within days that they can see a difference, and they don't understand why they didn't see this difference with the other so-called probiotic products they tried. So here's my challenge to you. If you really want to regain or maintain your health, and I've hated to do this in the past because I'm not a commercial person. In fact, the marketing team always gets upset with me, but I feel it's so important that you have to know why I spend so much of my life researching this to make it available, because we know the destruction of the microbiome leads to every known disease that we have identified in medicine today. So it's not nice to fool your microbiome, and it's not nice to not help it on a daily basis. And my famous words are, I don't make the rules. I didn't design the human body. I didn't make the digestive tract. I didn't make the association with a specific bacteria crucial to the health of the individual. And now, because of so many chronic illness states in many people in this country and really around the world, and especially our children, we really need to be taking care of that microbiome each and every day. And we do offer a free low-carb diet on our website, which you could just load down and print for yourself. You don't have to buy anything. We give you a free exercise program. My dedication has been to this industry for the last 60 years is to help people, like I say, maintain or regain their health. There's no other interest. I don't make any other products. I specialize in probiotics because it is rocket science. And I want you and your family to benefit each and every day.
I think well said. And so if you are one of the 10 million happy customers who have used Healthy Trinity in the past, leave us a note. Let us know how it's helped you. Share it. It's like paying it forward to someone who else is in need as well. For those new, please use the welcome 25 promo code at checkout for a 25% off promo code that Natasha is generously offering to our listeners. So Natasha, always great seeing you, hearing and learning from you as well. And to our Natren family and followers, wishing you much health and happiness in this upcoming year. We'll see you soon. Right. Thank you.
Let's make it the best.